Welcome back to Melbourne Strength Cultures Podcast, number one in the hearts, number one in the charts. We're back with the boy there's, full squad, assemble. Everyone hands in, come on. Nah. Yeah.
Boy there's assemble.
Boy there's. Woo! We're back.
That's the most...
Jamie's back in the most Jamie fashion.
Yeah.
I must admit, I actually thoroughly enjoyed the potties, boys. Well done. You didn't fuck it up, fellas. Yeah. Well done.
No, I actually thought that. I thought that. I go, we actually don't need you anymore.
Yeah. You're almost off the team.
You're almost off the team. But
We had some talks.
There was a few times where I genuinely laughed. I was listening to back on the plane, and you just can't beat the boy there's episodes. I'm sorry. No offense.
We're actively like shitting on any potential future guests.
No, we're not. We're not.
we like the guests.
Come on,
it's the chemistry of just the lads talking shit.
Well, I've listened to the last episode twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I listened to it once by myself. Then we were driving to Sydney, and Deuce wanted to listen to it again. So I listened to it again, but I enjoyed it the second time just as much as the first time.
It's good. One thing I do want to say about Jackson, I had no idea he was 23 years old. When he said he was 23, I was a bit like,
It's bonkers. It's crazy.
Made no.
He came down to the gym last week, hit some crazy deadlifts, and like the amount of people were like, what, he's younger than me? Like, what the fuck? Like, it was insane.
I actually found out Steve Christopher Karkas messaged me after and said that Jackson used to hang around the Nunawading Football Club when we were there as a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
It was 7-8 years ago, yeah.
Crazy.
And I don't remember him because he goes, it was a long time ago. He would have been a little kid, and he obviously looks way different now. He's jacked mammoth, 120-kilo mammoth. But yeah, apparently he used to hang around there.
I reckon we head out to Emerge and
do a video.
Is there a hectic eat spot out there?
We'll find one.
There's also a rumbling in the air for a hectic eats at Oakley. I think it needs to be done.
Yeah, I heard that. Someone said that to me last night as well. But I'm just thinking, like, what would the spot be?
Fucking
Mythos is where I go.
Mythos?
I go to Mythos.
Mythos is Rob's. Maybe Rob Smith can take us.
Calimera's good.
Calimera.
Have to put a vote to
Me, I think I've heard has dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, what in the street?
Bit dry.
Bit dry.
Bit dry. Just get the little.
It's hard to get pork right.
Yeah.
Once you get pork right, it's crack out because they only do pork and chicken because it's real Greek.
Yeah, proper.
They don't fucks with lamb,
Yeah.
Pork and chicken in Greece. Pork and chicken.
Yeah.
Is the fucking.
They do lamb like skewers and shit. But yeah, mechanics.
Yeah. We'll start a cooking show too. We'll get Columbaris down.
But yeah, we need to bring back Hector Gates. I thought about that because I've been watching a lot of Spanian.
Yeah.
I love Spanian.
He's about to start a car show as well.
He is. You know what I like him for? He's literally turned his life around. He's actually gone from being a proper drop kick in jail.
Hero arc. He's on that hero arc.
Yeah, hero's journey. Spaniard.
He's on the hero's journey. But I actually watched his first episode of their podcast, The Search, and he had another one of his mates that grew up in that scene that also went to jail and stuff. And he reckons out of everyone that he's ever known from that scene, they're the only two that have turned it around. The rest are all still addicted to heroin or in jail.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty hard to come back from.
When you hear like that, I was like, fuck, he's actually, and he's killing his fucking, he's doing fucking well.
He's doing it.
He's doing what we all want to do.
Is he still doing gas?
He's off it.
I don't know. I've got no idea. I don't follow.
The one thing I can't listen to him talk about is training.
What do you mean? His training shit's better than half the people in the fitness industry.
Some of the shit. I watched his one
talk about training. He's the Chocky Milk.
I rate him for the Chocky Milk, but he says some shit that's proper. I'm like, Jesus.
Like what?
I can't remember.
I think it's less. I think with some of those people, it's less the things they say, but it's the confidence they say it with. Like, because like we're like, oh, this, that, like depends. But they're like, they'll say something like, no, that's it, and that's the answer.
But it's the charisma, the confidence. Yeah, like, man, I'll know because I'll know it's incorrect, but because he's so charismatic, I'm
love it.
Done.
Yeah,
I agree. I'm all for it.
100%.
Except for Liver King, I'm off him.
Yeah, that was one thing you were saying.
I'm so angry.
I'm off him too now.
I was never on him.
Actually, Lambros sends me every Liver King now. That I've said it, he sends me every fucking Liver King thing. I don't know if he's trying to piss me off or something. He was just trying to irritate me in the morning. But he sent me one that I was like, actually, you know what? I respect him more now. He went on a podcast and they're like, oh, so a Primal doesn't use deodorant, huh? And he's like, nah. And they're like, yeah, we could smell the musk when you walked in.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Respect. That's commitment to the bit. He smells. But also, fuck him.
You like him because he smells.
At least he walks the walk.
That's commitment to the bit.
I don't
think it's a
he sleeps on the floor. He doesn't have a bed.
It's commitment to nothing. It's his life.
No, but there is a bit because he's lying.
No, I think he's only lying about the gassing.
That's a bit.
Bouz is upset about the fact that he's gassing, obviously.
No, he's a character. He's a character. The word on the street is his whole partner's got dentist clinics, and this guy's talking about chewing sticks.
No, apparently I heard he's a character.
Well, you don't chew sticks.
There's a
Sometimes.
they built him to sell their products and shit. The primal fucking protein and shit.
It's a bit.
I feel like he's selling them fucking
Right,
products.
he's selling them. Yeah. Respect the hustle,
Bone
but
broth.
yeah.
Who was it? It was like there's Death Grip Derek. There's a lot of money in selling signs to dumbasses or something.
Death Grip Derek is unbelievable.
Death Grip Derek has some wild takes. We love it.
Wednesday Violence, yeah.
We got to send him a t-shirt.
Yeah,
I don't think he'd give a fuck.
I reckon I've thought this through, and I reckon like, who the fuck are you? You're just a bunch of bums.
It'd be funny.
His whole thing is I'm the best in powerlifting at 22 in his weight class.
Yeah.
He's like, so why would I keep powerlifting? It's like, this shit's easy.
What's he gonna do? Strongman or something?
Jiu-jitsu, some shit.
Jiu-jitsu.
I don't know.
I think he wants to come back and beat Russ Swole though, doesn't he, or something? There's something going on with Russ Swole there.
Nah, he just hates Russ.
Is Russ Swole, is Death Grip Derek natural?
No.
No, he's
No.
not.
Probably.
Probably.
That's his
That's
thing.
his thing.
Yeah.
It says lifetime natty. Probably. He's not natty.
He's definitely not. He's
Russ
got.
Swole's meant to be natty.
Yeah.
I think
He's a tested lifter.
I
He's
would
a tested lifter.
Yeah. I
I
think.
would back him in.
The USAPL does a lot of testing, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
he'd be hard for him to be.
So he's gonna beat him anyway.
There's no competition.
That's what I mean.
There's no beating. He's beat the shit out of him. It's not. I don't think there's a competition. He's just
Yeah.
ripping him because of the comments that he made. It's like the comments about
He's
work
the hardest
ethic.
worker in the room.
He's
and
the
all
hardest
this,
worker.
yeah.
That's what his comments were. So,
I ain't seen no one work as hard as I do.
yeah. And then Derek's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So he's saying we train 2 hours a day in air-conditioned gyms 4 times a week.
Yeah.
He's like, how hard are we working? He's like, you look at other sports, like proper athletic sports, 3 times a day sessions or whatever the fuck.
In the rain.
That's his argument.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it is. It's not saying that people don't work hard, but to say you're the hardest worker in the room for this sport, it's a bit of a stretch. Like, come on, bro. Everyone's doing the same
Yeah.
shit. And also, there's people stronger than you. So
And with
take
that
it
with that
easy.
whole thing, my boy Angelo Fortino had a really good take on. He's like, I reckon, because someone asked him, like, obviously people are like having fun and like talking shit and stuff. Like, oh, do you reckon you're the hardest worker in the room? He's like, nah, I reckon the people that are working harder than me are the people who train as hard as me but aren't as strong as me because they put in the same effort as I do, but they need to put in more effort to try and get to the level we're at. Like,
I reckon-
they're the ones who are really working hard.
Yeah,
Send
yeah.
Russ Swole over to David Goggins. See how hard he can really work.
A collab.
Collab.
Speaking of David Goggins,
Goggins would kill him.
Shouts out Ethan Fleming. The
boy's on TV.
making a Channel 10 debut on the Trader. Unfortunately, only made 2
Didn't
episodes.
last long.
Though. Yeah, one of my old clients is actually on the show as well.
Oh, he said that.
Yeah, from the old Hampton days. One of my OG, like the quintessential Bayside client is on there as well. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's just funny to see that he's on there as well. So it's quite funny. But yeah, shouts out Ethan.
Shouts out
Fleming.
Ethan.
The Aussie Goggins. I know he hates saying that, but we'll call him that anyway.
Too late.
we need a king collab of Liver King, Goggins, Swole,
Just the 3 goats.
and Fleming. And
them in a
just
room.
see what comes
Put
out
them
of it.
in a room.
Put them in a room and see what comes out of it. Yeah, absolutely. If you've been pushing your training hard, you probably need some supplements. But the good thing is, your boys have got you covered because we've partnered up with Elite Sups Australia, which is a fantastic online store for supplements. And they have the best part, I think, is they have a wide range of supplements. Pretty much everything, every brand that you've probably seen on social media is on there. And you can use Culture 10 for a 10% discount store wide. We'd also love to see what you get because there's plenty of stuff. I know you boys have been trying
Slamming
some
the non-stim.
the non-stims.
Emerald Labs non-stim has been our choice. It actually tastes good.
Yeah.
And I'm not overly stimulated.
How
which
are the
is
sick
fantastic.
pumps?
They're sick.
The pumps were juicy.
Yeah.
I'm all about non-stim. I used to think, like, back when I first got in non-stim, why would you take? Now I'm like, I get it. Because I've cut down my caffeine and you get a sick pump, feel mad, blood circulation.
And a lot of you train at 5 p.m., you're slamming pre-workouts, you're affecting your sleep. Grab the non-stim, get the pumps without the fucking impact on your sleep,
I've
brother.
also ordered some of the Ghost protein.
Apparently it's really
I've only heard
tasty.
great things
I've heard
about
good
some.
things. The Ghost pre-workout, I had a sip of it.
Tasty.
It is very tasty.
That was the Warheads one. Yeah, so
very tasty.
Culture 10, if you're interested in any of the supplements on Elite Supplements Australia, Elite Sups, the link is in our Instagram bio and it will be somewhere in the description of this potty. But yeah, no, you boys did well. Well done.
Thank
Good
you.
stuff. How'd everything go when I was away? Charles, you smashed your car.
No, my car's fine. Oh, well, it's sort of not fine.
Who drove you to work today?
Dan Andrews actually smashed my car. Bouz drove me to work. So if a lot of people would have saw my stories, because a lot of people knew it happened. But potholes in Seymour, it was on the news. So we're driving along. We're actually listening to the podcast. We were listening right at the point where we were talking about doing the Spanako Pito review. We were talking about fucking. I remember the literally the spot, and then I felt this bump in the car, like a jolt, and I was like, what the fuck? And then just felt the car go a bit funny. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, did I just burst my tyres? I was like, no way, I just got new tyres literally 4 days before on the Wednesday.
4 days?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, fucking cunts. It's even worse because anyway. I don't want to think about it because fucking just blowing money off these fuck. I got 2 new tyres on Wednesday. So they rotate. They put the old one. They put.
Was this before or after you became a stoic again?
This was during. The last week I was like talking a lot about stoicism. So anyway, I fucking hit this spot and then I pull over and I'm like, there's all these cars on the side of the road. I'm like, what the fuck? See them out there like sussing their cartridge. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So immediately I was like, did someone lay something on the road that is like popping people's tires? And then we speak to the person in front of us. It's a pothole. It's a pothole. Massive pothole. I went and took a photo of it. But because it had been raining, it was like underwater, so you couldn't see it.
It was a swimming pool.
It had been filled. It was brown water, so you couldn't tell when you're traveling. It was also raining and all that shit. So anyway, we waited on the side of the road. Rang RACV. They're like 3 hour wait. 3 hours goes by. Ring them back. They're like, oh, we've been trying to call you, but we took the wrong number down. I'm like, you fucking. I was about to kill them. Anyway, they were useless.
Stoic.
I was stoic. RACV were useless. Then they transferred me to SES, who said we're going to call the cops. That cops never came. So everyone had been getting picked up here now with their tow trucks.
Were you last?
It was us and 2 other cars. Wallen Towing Company had been ordered to come pick everyone up and take us back, but out of pocket now, $600. We haven't paid that. Apparently it goes through insurance. Wallen Towing Company, they were really nice. But the guy that took us at the end, he was a classic. So he was this big, like burly Aussie guy, and it's raining now. It's proper raining. It's dark. It was actually pretty scary on the side of the road. The trucks were flying past 110 kilometers an hour. I thought that was what was going to kill us. I was like, these trucks, if one loses control, everyone's dead, gone. And I was actually surprised that the cops didn't come down. It took ages for the cops down to come shut down one. It was pretty
poorly managed.
I thought. But apparently Lukey was saying, so my brother's a paramedic, he reckons the country policemen are just like, they're in first gear. They're just like, that's what they're like. They're just country service. They're just, different gear. They just don't, they're very like laid back. Relax. Yeah, I'm like, man, you got trucks flying past here in the wet. You got 20 cars on the side of the road here. Yeah. Like, someone's going to die. Luckily, no one got hurt, which is good. But the tow driver picks us up, and he's this Aussie guy, big burly Aussie guy, and he's hitting potholes on purpose and laughing, and he's like, ha ha ha. And me and Deuce are like proper already like on edge, fight or flight, saturated, PTSD. We've been waiting in the rain for 5 hours. But he was a really nice guy anyway. He was a nice guy. But then, Paul Fricky came and picked us up.
Yeah, shouts out Paul Fricky.
He listens to this too. He was listening to the other one. But yeah, he came and got us. So Mum was like, oh, just stay the night in Wallen, like anxious. And I was like, nah, Paul Fricky's going to come get us. She's like, oh, and I think she felt bad. She's like, I'll come get you. And I was like, no, you just stay at home because you're going to be like a full anxious mess. And I'm like, Paul Fricky's a firefighter, very like he's like, yep, I'll come get you. No problems. I was like, that's the kind of energy we need right now. I don't need anxiety, ball of anxiety. She's crying on the phone. I know my mum cares, but not the energy you need in that.
You need the rest of you.
Shotgun mum energies at that time is not required.
not good. So Paul Fricky was perfect.
They care too much.
Just circling back, did your insurance have to pay for the pothole? Surely the fucking... Vic Roads fits the bill. Like.
But I think what's going to happen is I'll have to pay the excess, and I've got the forms for Vic Roads. I've got to put in a claim through Vic Roads.
And they'll pay the excess.
Yeah, but I'll be out of pocket for the excess first. But Vic Roads theoretically should pay. It's their fault. There's massive potholes in the road. Apparently, people had been doing their tyres on that pothole for a couple of weeks. They actually got fixed the next day. So they obviously were a problem.
She's
You right? You choking on something? What's
Choking them.
That was the longest run
you
of.
doing?
I reckon if we could go back 45 episodes, that's the longest run of indigestion we've had. Easily.
I thought you were vomiting in your mouth and swallowing it mid-story.
I was having hiccups and just kept talking. Vic Rose should be liable.
Surely. Coggins.
So
Stoic vomit.
Seek discomfort.
That's not a vomit.
good way to finish up Dan Andrews' electoral.
He's fine. I don't think if the potholes are the least.
That's the one that
apparently-
The thing is,
I
he'll
found
get
it-
back in.
Yeah, he's going to
We're
get
not
back
talking
in.
politics
He's going to
because
get
we
back
don't know
in.
what we're fucking talking
No, we don't know.
about.
But apparently he's been copying the state of the roads. The country roads have been under a bit of duress for a while now. Apparently,
Duress,
so they
that's a
need to
good
be
word.
fixed and shit, which obviously I can tell you firsthand.
Yeah, it's because you got fucking tow drivers just hammering the potholes. Every opportunity.
Man, it was fucking scary. I'm telling you, it was actually scary. And then, like, one of the other, our tow driver was really nice. There was another one that came and goes, "Why would you guys be driving in this weather?" And I was like, just being the worst, like, the most negative person ever. And I'm like, man, I don't fucking know. It was a bit of rain. I just got in my car and left. Apparently there was weather warnings. I don't know. Went on the news and shit. I didn't know there was weather warnings. Anyway, we were meant to. I don't actually think we would have made it to the farm because the next town up, Seymour, was underwater.
Oh, really?
Flooded, underwater. So it's actually so one of the Deuce's parents live in Goulburn. Their family friends live in Shepparton. They were up at the wedding too. They're stuck in Goulburn now because they can't get back to Shepparton because it's all underwater.
All underwater. Yeah,
It's pretty crazy. So a lot of the place is flooded and shit.
Fucking Dan Andrews.
Dan Andrews. Yeah, just blame Dan.
Chemtrails.
No, I was more annoyed with RACV. To be honest, RACV were pretty piss poor.
Isn't the chemtrails the shit that makes it rain or whatever? They're controlling the weather with the chemtrails? Or are they
Yeah.
controlling us with the
No,
chemtrails?
I think the chemtrails is what's preventing Vic Rose to sort out the potholes.
It makes sense.
That's
It's the
the
fluoride.
It is
It's
what it is.
seed oil. They were putting
It's
seed
them
oil.
right-wing truckies that are stopping the
It's the
potholes.
receipt paper, the BPA and the receipt paper. It's what the fuck was I saying? I don't even know.
That was a good recap. I really enjoyed that story, Charles. That was a great story.
Yeah. So now, anyway, so my last point was, so Deuce was like very emotional, got very like upset. She went through the whole things of grief, was crying, was angry.
It was a cousin. You got to preface it with it was a cousin's wedding on the
Yeah,
Saturday.
you're going to your wedding.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a cousin's
yeah.
wedding, and I was like, "We're gonna get to the wedding. I'm not fussed. It's Thursday. The wedding's on Saturday. We'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get back. Mum's like, our parents are like, we'll just come back. We'll pay for your flights. We'll get you there." So we got to the wedding. We had a good time. But she was impressed by how
Stoic.
I was stoic.
Well, this is the next thing we need to unpack.
because I actually think sometimes I've noticed I can handle certain situations like that quite well.
Yeah. I called Deuce and I also called you.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to you, I wasn't surprised, but I was like, fuck, you're measured as.
You know what I was
On
doing
the phone,
when
I was
you
like,
called
you know-
me? I was reading
Yeah.
best runners for over 100 kilo males.
What'd you come up with? Keanu 18s? Keanu 25?
Yeah, Keanu's Brooks Glycerin. I was
Brooks Glycerin.
Brooks Glycerin, Keanu's, Saucony. It's all those.
They've
top
got
brands.
6 names for really ugly shoes.
Yeah,
Like,
they are
I
ugly
got
shoes.
Brooks Adrenaline, they're chat.
Brooks Adrenaline.
But they're support.
I reckon I'm just gonna go with Keanu's. We always had the Keanu's.
Keanu's
They
are
just
the
Asics look kind of good.
The Hamptons.
They were the Sweatmaster. Everyone had Keanu's back at Sweatmaster.
I get the new Keanu's.
The Keanu's.
Is that the K? What are they up to now? The 345?
No, 25, I think.
25.
20, yeah, something like that.
20 something.
But yeah, I was like, I've been talking about being stoic the whole week, and I was like, what's the point of it all? This is where my head went. What was the point of it all if I can't actually do it now? So I was in the rain. I fucking helping this taxi driver change his fucking tire. I was taking photos of all the fucking thing, getting people's details. Must say, people have been really good. I've met a few people. One lady called me. The lady in
networking.
front of me. She called me yesterday.
Close any of them?
Did you get him in the Discord?
She's not. I don't think she's our clientele. She was about 68 years old.
Surely you would have got an elite subs discount.
In the 10%.
That
So-
culture
Vitamins.
So
If you're looking for Romaleo,
You got any ghost protein?
She rang me. She rang me yesterday. On Sunday, just to see how we were
to
going.
catch up?
Yeah, she goes, "Did you make it to the wedding?" And then another lady just sent me an article. Now they were nice.
Charles is out there networking.
On the side of the road.
Your potholes, yeah. Dan Andrews.
So we'll see what happens. Anyway,
That's
for
amazing.
assessing. But if I was like, if I can't be stoic now, and I've actually had something, because that's the whole point. It's like
Yeah.
not control, like the
In the face of adversity.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
talk
out
about
of
it,
your
be about it.
control.
I got a good line on that Brutus showed me. He actually didn't show me. He showed me this Russian. He's like 65-year-old, was an Olympian, trained a couple of Olympians. He trains in the area. I think it's Melbourne, Sydney.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he does fuck shit. Like standing on like one leg, Bouz ball, upside down, whatever. Anyway, in his caption, it's easy to seem, hard to be.
Yes.
I love it. That is like my catch cry at the moment. It's not stoicism, but it's also.
but it's the same
if you're
thing,
practicing and talking about stoicism, you better fucking.
Because I was talking about in the
practice it, you know what I mean?
podcast, I was talking about it on Instagram, and I'm like, what's the point of talking about it if I can't be that right now?
100%.
But I did want to crack RACV.
Yeah, fuck
I do want to crack him, but
Well, I saw the.
That was bad. I loved that
you
so
don't
much
want to
on
know.
your
You don't want
story.
to know what I sent them on.
Oh, I saw it.
Oh,
Bro,
bit of a
it's
bad
fucked.
Google review.
No. It's a DM, and it's way worse.
It's way worse. They haven't opened. I said to my brother. My brother's like, "Yeah, let him know." Lukey loves that shit.
Did they see it?
They haven't opened it. I don't think. I don't doubt they would respond.
Nah.
But at least they know.
No, they'll respond with something like, "Oh, I hate to hear that you had a
Oh,
poor
really? Yeah, it'd be
experience.
a automated.
Please make sure to call
fucking-
13 fucking this that."
I did feel immediately when it happened, I was a bit like, and when I found out it was going to be a 3-hour wait, I was just felt a bit helpless because I'm like, what the fuck? I'm on the side of the road. I was wet. That was the other thing. It was wet. It was pissing down relentlessly the whole time. There was a river next to us that I swear doubled in size. And I'm like, man, we're going to get flood. Like, we're on the side of the road. There's trucks flying past. There's water. I was just, yeah. Anyway.
Goggins would have gone for a run, by the way.
Goggins would've gone for a
I went for a
swim.
little jog.
Did his feet?
Yeah, because the pothole was like 300 meters up the road. So take a photo, just a bit of a jog.
You got to accumulate.
Catching
Yeah.
high fives on the way
Yeah,
through.
so I can get
from
high fives.
fucking your new dial.
I was getting high fives.
Yeah.
That's the story. The potholes.
Well,
Seeing more
speaking
potholes.
speaking of stoicism, I had an epiphany when I was vomiting my life away, being full food poisoning. So before we left, everyone was like, "Oh, France, Paris, you're gonna have amazing food." Like everyone just loves to preempt your travel with like expectations of all the things that are going to be great about
The
it.
food was shit, you said.
The food was in Paris was fucking shit house, terrible. Not a single good meal, one good meal there, but that will be the end of the story. But we like terrible. Like the first night, we went to our concierge at the hotel, and we're like, "Oh, where should we eat?" She's like, "Oh, straight across the road. It's the best place in the area." So we go across there, and they obviously it's for tourists because they got like an Aussie menu and shit, which is quite rare in France or in Paris. And we ordered 2 steaks, and Laura literally couldn't cut the steak. Like couldn't.
No way.
It was
Rubber.
it was the rubber from the pothole.
It was
It
a
just
Viada
fucking
thong.
landed on our plate, and you couldn't cut it. It was just unedible, inedible.
How much was the steak?
Oh, fuck,
Euros?
I can't remember. Yeah, euros.
how
I don't know, probably like 15 euros.
Oh, not that bad.
Yeah.
Aussie's more expensive.
And we're like, this is shit house. This is and we just got there and we're like, and it just sort of set the tone for the food in Paris. And the restaurant started to fill up by the end of it. I'm like, fuck, this place is getting packed. So we're like, we'll just leave and go for a walk and then try and sleep tonight. And then the next night, we like 6 p.m. we walked past the restaurant again, and the line was like 100 meters long. The restaurant was obviously full. They had set up cones so that they wouldn't block like the neighboring businesses from the line. Like you couldn't line up there. You had to like line up. It was like it was a full blown establishment of a
Restaurant.
yeah. And I was like, that's surely not what people are lining up for
Maybe it's a French delicacy.
for French food. It was shit.
Rubber thong.
steak.
Overcooked
Serving
steak.
up fucking turd.
eating a rubber thong.
Yeah. And then it just sort of set the tone for and we everywhere we went, we're just like, this is so bland. It's just no flavor. Like I don't know. And then Marcus Swan was messaging me. He's like, man, you got to go here. And in my head, I'm like, these are just bougie as fucking, you know where they got the little dollar signs? It would be like $5 signs.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
yeah,
not spending that
I'm
much.
like, I just can't. No,
He,
so
preface that, Marcus Swan also hates steak sangers, so he can go fuck himself. He's got fantastic taste, everything you like, but also he doesn't like steak sangers.
So the best meal we had in Paris in the first 5 days was Five Guys. We went to Five Guys and got
Oh my
crazy double cheesy.
Did you have Quick?
What?
Quick?
Nah.
That burger place? Quick? Oh, Rob was obsessed with it when we were over there.
Yeah, but Paris in general was mad. Like going and learning the history, and I learned a lot about Napoleon. I don't know if anyone knows about Napoleon, but that Malacca changed the fucking world. Holy shit!
Napoleon.
Holy moly, he really did. Deviated the direction of civilization.
Napoleon Dynamite.
But, yeah.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah. And then we were coming back to Paris at the very last. We got the train from London down, go through Scotland and all that sort of stuff. Get the train down, and I'm like, I'm coming in to Paris with a new mindset. I've got 24 hours here. I'm gonna find a nice restaurant. I'm gonna eat well. So
Manifest good steaks.
I had a carbonara at lunch, and I had a raw egg yolk at the top, like a little semi-fancy spot. I had a little raw egg yolk on the top, and Laura's like, I don't know if I'd eat that. And I'm like, nah, it's fine. We're in Paris. It's the cuisine of Paris, not carbonara, but I was like, yeah, they're good. They're good at cooking here. I went in positive. Like, I changed my attitude towards their food, and I ate it, and it was really good. Fucking crazy, creamy carbonara. I was like, that's it. We're changing. I booked a nice dinner restaurant, had a crazy steak, really good sides, great bottle of wine. Everything was better. I was like, this is awesome. And then I'm like, I feel like I want an apple pie to finish off. I want an apple pie to finish off my holiday. They didn't serve it there, so I looked up an apple pie at a restaurant, walked up to the Arc de Triomphe. Across the side, had a.
That was actually a great pronunciation.
I'm fucking cultured. And then I ordered this apple pie, and I'm like, this is what Paris was meant to be. This apple pie was crazy, good ice cream. I'm like, this is it. I'm heading home. Loved it. And then I'm starting to walk home. And I'm like, I feel like shit. And my stomach just started going. And my mood, I needed some stoicism. My mood just...
Nah, when you're sick, it's sick.
My mood just spun. I said, fuck this country. I'm like... And Laura's like, but it's so much better. I'm like, no, fuck this. Like, and we get home, and I wish I took a photo of how bloated... Like, I'm bloated at the best of time. I don't chew my food. I don't fucking... I reckon I'm gluten intolerant. I've got all of it. Fuck it all, though. It's all in your head. And I was so bloated. I looked fucking 9 months pregnant, and I'm like, this is not going to be a good night. And then Laura hated it, but all night I couldn't stop moaning. So I was just rolling around the bed like, oh. And it was like 3 hours, and then it was like, eventually it was just like, all right, things are going to start coming up. And I did the biggest power munt of my life. Like, I could feel it, like, coming through my, like, I can't describe it. It was like someone was squeezing me. And it was just like, all coming out. I'm like, this is going to be the shittest fucking flight home. And then it was just all, and I was like, no, fuck Paris. Paris sucks. So I'm off Paris.
So do you reckon it was a raw egg?
100% it was a raw egg. Because Laura and I had the exact same dinner, and she was fine. She didn't have the apple pie, so it could have been the apple pie.
Maybe the listeners can... enlighten us.
I thought I had salmonella.
When I was 18, I used to put like 3 raw eggs in my smoothie, no dramas. So I don't know what the deal is with raw eggs. Like some people, like, what's the go there? Like, are you going to get food? Maybe it was old eggs in Paris. They don't fucking have fresh eggs.
They just suck at cooking, man. That's what it is. They don't know how to cook.
I don't know. Like, apart from frog legs and snails, I don't really know what Paris French cuisine is.
Sick fucking French food here.
Liver parfait.
Oh, actually, I don't know. But I went
chicken liver parfait.
Escargot. I had that. It just tastes like garlic. But I've been to a French place here. There's a place called Bouzy. Bouzy. Maybe it's got a sick name. But I went there with Nick Ryan, and it was cracker. Like mad. There's another place, Francois in Melbourne. It's
I've
mad.
had better French in Melbourne than...
Yeah,
I think we're actually so spoiled.
We are.
Holy shit, we don't realise. Yeah.
You can eat at a different restaurant. You could eat at a different restaurant every night of the year in Melbourne.
Yeah.
At a good restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of raw egg, though, I had beef tartare at that joint.
I had beef tartare.
Unbelievable. With raw egg on it, fucking beef mince.
Little fucking...
Chicken liver parfait.
Little chives and that. That. Chicken liver parfait.
Chicken liver parfait. I don't even remember because they cooked it on Master.
You want to say chicken liver parfait a couple more times?
Chicken liver parfait. It looks like... It looks disgusting.
I had pigeon, though. I ate pigeon.
Fuck that.
Pigeon breast.
Nah.
I've eaten pigeon.
Pigeon breast was like the most dehydrated chicken breast of all time.
Nothing about pigeon sounds appealing.
I had
fucking flying rat.
I had pigeon at Dining with Heston in London, and it was one of the best meals I've ever had.
Keston?
Dining with Keston. But my Pappou, actually, when I was a little kid, had a fucking cage at the back full of pigeons. He used to kill them and eat them. That's proper Cypriot.
Speaking of...
come a long way or regressed?
Hang on, no. My nonno had the RSPCA give him a formal complaint, and they were going to send him to jail for killing possums in his backyard.
You're not allowed to.
3 of the neighbours had dobbed him in, and the RSPCA and the police came to the house, and he was like 87. And everyone was like, "What? You're going to throw him in jail? Like, what the fuck?" He's lived his whole life killing possums.
Possums, yeah.
And then 3 people decided to dob him in. It was like this huge thing.
Because they were eating his
I also want to know how the
trees
neighbours
or-
found out.
Yeah, because they were in the
Was he
fruit
like
in the trees.
He's
in
hanging
the backyard like shouting?
Man, he had the biggest traps.
hanging him off the fence.
He had
Hanging
the
on the
biggest
fence. Oh,
fucking
okay.
traps. Me and Nicole and I used to. What was that? Yeah, I'm gonna get Donnie. I'm gonna speak into it, but I'm gonna use my arms. Nicole and I, my sister and I, when we were young, used to go around and fucking trigger them all with broomsticks. These things would like snap the broomstick.
You're an accessory to
They were
murder.
like
Oh, so you would kill the
fucking-
possums too?
No, we'd
It's accessory to murder.
We'd,
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
we'd do the traps so they wouldn't kill the possums.
Oh,
we were
okay.
dodging the traps.
Oh, so you fell for
Yeah.
you fell for the possums.
Yeah, don't kill the
Yeah.
possums.
Possums, you're not allowed to kill them.
Man,
Protect
just
you.
buy the figs at the fucking.
They've
Come on, Nonno. Fuck your connection to culture. Like,
Assimilate culture, Nonno.
just buy the GMO shit, fucking Nonno.
Nonno. Jesus, Coles.
I think I'd progressive grandparents. They didn't kill the chicken. They had chickens, but they didn't kill them. They wanted
They
the
just
eggs,
tortured them.
At half, you just tortured them. They just had them in like a 2 meter by 2 meter thing. 400 chickens in there. That was good.
yeah, no
Cage
Yeah, yeah.
chickens
space,
before it was
400,000
caged
chickens,
They were-
1 square
They
meter.
were
of space.
anti-free range.
Well, I found out that back in the day, so these are the stories I hear from my parents. Mum said when they used to get the lamb for, now obviously you go to the butcher, you get the lamb put on the spit. Back then, you used to go out to like Chesterville Farm or wherever out there. Pappou would get the live lamb. They bring it back, kill it in the backyard.
Oh wow!
So it's it's obviously changed a lot now. But you pick up the livestock.
Yeah, at least it's killed elsewhere.
Yeah, that's
good.
elsewhere. So if anyone actually has a problem with, I've always said this, like people like they have a problem with hearing that shit, but I'm like, yeah, but you're still eating meat. So it's like you're fucking part of the
Yeah,
process.
but you don't
anyway.
have to see it.
You don't have to see it, but you can't.
It's like we can all have iPhones, but we don't have to see the.
Fuck me.
yeah, to cut that
I don't
out.
know. It might just
That's
get
kind of
better.
that's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just
Yeah.
good. That,
But it's true though, isn't it?
It's true.
It's very
It's
true.
true.
Like
Let's
that's
move on.
reality, guys.
That's
Sorry.
Amazon.
It's
Like you're head to toe on Nike right now.
100%.
Amazon.
Nah, bro,
That's
ethically
That's why,
sourced.
hey,
Ethically
it's
only.
pig. It's pig, strength culture
don't
apparel.
ask where my trackies are from.
Easy.
though.
I'm half ethical.
I do want to go a couple more really positive things about the trips because I know I'm every person I run into at the gym anyway. So
Munsey
I know
Castle?
people. Yeah, Scotland is mad. You have to get to Scotland.
Do you drink
I
whiskey?
know the Greek tradition is just go to the motherland and fucking sit on a beach and drink frappes, but
Frappedes.
Frappedes.
Plural, yeah.
but yeah,
I know. Our
Scotland
trips
is-
next year are going to be the opposite to your trip.
Scotland is it is a mad country.
Convince
Fucking
me. Because
sick.
I don't know. Just go convince me.
it's
Oh, I'm not going to lie. I saw Edinburgh looks sick. I
Edinburgh,
like those
Edinburgh looks
towns.
like you're walking around. That
I love
little-
going places like it seems like a place you'd go and it's like you're stepping back in time. That's what it's like in Austria.
Shouts
Very
out
similar.
Dennis. I got recognised in Edinburgh. What are the fucking chances of
Edinburgh.
that?
Yeah, you're Mr. Worldwide there. Fucking-
But he loves the potty, so shouts out because he spent about an hour with us after, and he took us around. We literally just got out of the cab from the airport. We were
Dennis.
so like disoriented, like new city, and he's like Jamie. I'm like, no way, no way. And I got so G'd up. I got a couple videos with him, but he was so
Mr.
nice. He
Worldwide.
gave us a couple restaurants to go to, which were both fucking awesome. And he's grinded that S&C life. He moved from Denmark, I think it was Denmark, to Edinburgh to have a crack at the university S&C. So
Gangster.
he started volunteering. He's done his work. Started volunteering, but
Hard
now
yards and that.
he's got a few teams he's overlooking and.
Yeah. What
But
a
yeah,
weapon.
shouts out.
That's our new KPI, international recognition.
Yeah.
In person.
International superstars.
Fun fact about Edinburgh. I thought it was called Edinburgh until about 2 weeks ago.
Oh really?
Yeah, I said,
Edinburgh.
I said it out loud. What the fuck did you say?
Yeah, Jamie's in Edinburgh.
Like, I'm like, I've definitely said that wrong then.
Edinburgh.
That's incredible.
No,
It's mad. And that's where like Harry Potter was written. So I know you'd
Diagon
enjoy
Alley.
that.
Were you into Harry Potter
No,
World?
all the spots where she would actually write it. Like
Oh, in Scotland.
that's where she wrote it.
Well, she's cancelled now, so fuck her.
Yeah, but the books are mad.
yeah, she's fucking. You know, you can't cancel her because she's made it. She's already made it
Trillionaire.
and gone.
Except
Yeah,
for
she's
true.
gone. She's
Is
off.
she still writing?
The problem is she's
wrote-
so.
still
Yeah,
something.
she is. One of her new books got released. The
Alias or something?
Robert Galbraith. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, there you
the
go.
Ink of the Black Heart.
Smart.
I've read
She's used
one.
an alias. Fucking-
She used that. That was her first book she released was 2013. The reason she used an alias though was because she didn't want it to be associated with Harry Potter because
Which I think
it's
is a good
crime.
idea.
It's
yeah,
true.
it's a good idea.
It's crime.
How many
fiction.
people know she's got an alias? I didn't know until you told me.
I knew.
Charles is a super fan.
I
Yeah,
knew.
but you're a fiction guy.
I'm a super fan. Nah, I knew from a few years ago, 5 years. 6 years
Yeah.
ago. But yeah, maybe the
Parfait
maybe
liver.
but the problem with her, she's so far gone now that she's
She's untouchable.
It's called exit velocity. Yeah,
she's gone.
Yeah.
She's
You
out of the
can't-
stratosphere,
you
man.
can't-
She's made that much
It's like,
money.
it's like Musk. Musk can literally just fuck
whatever he wants.
Harry Potter.
Apparently, Musk is now dealing with the Russians or some shit. It's just like what
I
the
wouldn't put it
fuck?
past him.
Man, like
Elon
yeah.
Musk. So you can't cancel him.
But one other thing, and then we'll get into some other stories, but or some other conversation.
Harry Potter.
No, the other epiphany that I had.
Chicken liver parfait.
Chicken liver parfait.
Chicken liquor.
I think that's what we call the.
Everybody likes parfait.
Chicken liquor these nuts. Oh, I just stole his joke.
No one heard. That's right.
No one heard
Claim
it.
it. That's good.
I stole Bouz's joke.
Fuck me. The other epiphany I had is I'm a fucking slob. I'm a slob of a human, and I need to get I need to tend to my physical and mental garden again.
What are you
I
going to
feel
do? What are you going to do to go about
We're
that?
gonna get bloods done.
No, no bloods.
What's the process?
I have some of my fruit is that low hanging that it's on the ground. It's just eat a fucking vegetable. I'm just gonna eat some vegetables. I'm just gonna do the real like.
Eat a piece of fruit.
Nah, I'm gonna try and get down to 90 kilos. So I'm weighing about 97. Granted, I didn't even think about that when I weighed in, but and when
What
I
weight?
put Jamie was like, yeah, because you just shut it all out. I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, but
Dehydrated as nuts.
Yeah, so I'm going to lose 7 kilos. I'm going to get down to 90 kilos. That's the and all of the habits that come along with that would just be like actually being better with my eating. And
Are you going to do the macro meals?
yes, I am. I didn't know how it worked with what your code was. What is your code?
Charlie 80.
Yeah, but
It's
how
in my
many do
bio.
we have to buy or whatever? Like
Just whatever. This is your first order. You get it 4 times. It's $20 off your first 4 orders.
Great.
I've done
That
very
was
poorly
fantastic.
for them, so
Yeah.
please buy some.
Culture 10, Culture 10 at Elite Subs.
Hey, if anyone's out there, use the code Charlie 80.
Yeah.
What's it for?
Macros.
Macros.com.au.
I reckon I've made one sale.
You reckon?
Well, I know
Was it Bouz?
I know I've made one.
No, I
sale.
don't buy them anymore.
I know
They,
I've made
they
one.
asked me if I wanted to do it again, and I said I just didn't respond.
You
I've been
didn't
eating my
respond.
muscle chef meals. They're fucking hectic.
I like. So
No, do you know why I said no to macros? Because every meal I got had fucking cauliflower in it. And I don't like cauliflower. So, and you can't pick your meals. So
But if you like cauliflower,
You can
Charlie's
make
got
a
the
meal
meals
for
for
you.
you.
cauliflower.
No, you can pick your meals if you order them, not for like them sending it to us for free.
Yeah, well, I want options, man.
Beggars
I'm
can't be
fucking,
choosers, mate.
If I'm earning,
Yeah, beggars
if
can't
I'm
be
earning
choosers.
for you, I don't want cauliflower. It's simple as that.
Tell
It's
them
an
what
it's an easy swap.
Iceberg.
I do like having the meals, but yeah, they're just small for me.
But yeah, that's fair.
I'll race you to 90.
Yeah, I'm on the way down to 90.
Yeah,
so
I've got to get to. I'm going to 95 first, but I
I'm
want
cutting
to get
after
to 90.
nationals.
Yeah?
not to. Hey, I just want to be a bit leaner for
Yeah.
because I'm a bit fat. I realized the last week when I did that video, and I was on the air bike, and my gut was
That's
just
good though. No, that's good. It's good. Positive. Body positivity.
I don't give a fuck,
it.
but
Yeah, there you go. You don't give a fuck anyway. So it doesn't
but
matter.
I do want it. But it is
You
nice to
wanna
be a bit
look better,
leaner.
that's
I
fine.
want to be leaner.
It's all right to say you want to look better.
That's fine.
Yeah.
100%.
And also,
You're comfortable. I respect that.
I think for what I want to do running in as well, and anyway, I just want to be leaner. It'll be better for my body anyway.
Yeah,
leaner.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the overarching goal is to drop some kilos, but it comes along with a few other. I'm not going to bore everyone here, but that's one thing I did notice. I was like, I'm eating and drinking like whatever the fuck I want. I pretty much had a bottle of wine every night for 20 something
But you
days
have.
straight.
I think you have to go to. Probably not. I think it's an unhealthy way of doing it. But for me, every time I've gone to the extreme, I've come out with the realization that the extreme is probably not ideal.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm functioning fine. I'm waking up, and obviously, like being on a holidays, it makes it easier. But I was just like, I feel like I'm getting fitter because I was and I'm like, my body is
you're
like,
probably walking more
my
than
body
you.
is.
Yeah,
I'm
fuck.
built different. I'm thriving in a bottle of
Anti-fragile.
wine every night,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is not the way. I should be taking a bottle of wine and then feeling like shit. But my body was just.
You're on
dealing
holiday
with it.
though.
Yeah, I know, but I felt it. Just I was like,
I'd be.
I came back-
surprised.
and I dead set came back
it's
looking
Liver King, man.
exactly the same as what I was looking like, and I was just like,
You're
nah,
I think
Walking
the
heaps.
energy
Walking.
expenditure, you would have been doing like 15,000+ steps a day compared to what, like maybe 5 to 7, like.
nah, probably
difference.
doubled it, 8 to 15. I would have.
That's a big jump. That's a big
Steps
jump.
do heaps. There's a guy on Instagram I see him. He centered his whole thing around walking.
Just-
Just
walking
walk.
guy?
Just walk. Or some shit like that. Walking guy. Walk more.
It's the
Well, there's a
flux.
few people like that. Need up
Flux.
24/7. All that.
Oh,
kind of
really?
jazz, like-
Need up
like
24/7.
James
Duran,
Smith,
yeah.
PT, Duran.
It's the
Yeah,
flux.
Well, speaking of which,
Is this close enough?
I
pulled
haven't.
it away again.
This is close enough.
That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
close
all right.
enough.
it's all
No, but
right.
you went
Turn him
up.
up 20%. It's all right.
Yeah.
I don't really listen to the podcast, but during Cartel, I swear to God, I was scrolling through my podcast catcher this morning on Spotify, and he had fucking Dizzy Rascal on his podcast. I was like,
I
holy
saw that.
shit, like that's a big
Dizzee
fucking
Rascal.
name for someone in the fitness industry to grab. I'll have to suss it out, but that's like,
Dizzee Rascal.
That's-
They're both
Yeah.
from like the UK, so
yeah, but like, man, that's like,
Dizzee Rascal.
that's transcending. Like,
Do you-
fucking,
yeah.
Dizzy
no, it
Rascal's
is.
always also on the downturn of his career. It's not
man,
bro, when the fuck was the last time you had a Dizzy Rascal song?
yeah, but bro,
actually,
like,
that's
if
true.
If someone who was like a mad cunt 15 years ago, is still like a mad cunt. Like,
I reckon we could get Shannon Nole.
man, I think Dizzy Rascal's above Shannon Nole.
Let's get 360.
I think Dizzy Rascal's above Shannon Nole.
Yeah, also we have much lower than during Cartel.
I'll tell you
So
what,
fair.
it could be.
I'll tell you one,
though. Could
one
we get
problem
him?
with Dizzee
Would he
Rascal.
come on?
Dizzee Rascal may be on the downslope, but now I'm starting to realize it because I can't remember a single one of his songs.
No, there was
bonkers,
that
to be
one.
honest.
Bonkers.
Bonkers.
And Holiday.
Bonkers.
And there was
Those
Holiday
songs are
with
10 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was also, mate, I reckon they're older than 10 years old.
Don't-
They
Can
were
you
when
pull
we
up his,
used to
like,
go to the
5
races
best
at
songs on
school.
Spotify?
Yeah,
we used
like
to wear like
12 and
oversized
shit.
suits and like lilac ties
Yeah.
at the races.
No, you get
and
a
try
Calvin
and get
Harris.
a $5 bet on and be like shit in your pants. And they're not going to
take
take
it.
money and like give you a slip.
The one
I
thing
missed
about the
all of that.
bookies,
Try
they'll
to
always
look
take
at this.
your money. The bookies will always take your money. The
No,
dogs.
there's Dizzy Rascal, Holiday. It's older than 10 years, I'm sure.
Well, if you ain't doing nothing, let's drive away. That one, yeah.
You sound like fucking Robbie Williams or fucking... What's his name? What's the other one? You know the Noel Gallagher.
I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
No, from Oasis. Let's drive away.
Yeah, British man.
2009. 13
Yeah,
years old.
13 years. So he's
Yeah,
on the
man,
he's on the back end.
If you went to number one globally, like, that's something.
No, it's big.
Shannon Nole didn't.
Yeah. No, hey, one Aussie Idol,
Shannon
mate.
Nole-
No, he came second.
he-
Guy Sebastian
second.
came
Yeah, I know,
second.
but I think What About Me made it to number one.
Shannon Nole had an impact.
Man, he had. I'm not saying he
In
didn't.
Australia, but he had an
Dizzy
impact.
Rascal. Like,
No, I know what you mean.
Did it have an impact or a impact? I think What About Me was that was probably it.
What about me?
No,
It was one impact.
yeah, I think he had Drive. That was another song.
Drive.
Drive.
He also had
That was
Shine.
his second single.
Shine.
Yeah, Shine.
Shine.
See, we
We
can
need
name
a
more
Shine
Shannon Nole songs than
sponsorship.
Dizzy Rascal
We need a
songs.
Shine sponsorship.
Get Shannon Nole on the podcast.
Could we get Guy Sebastian on the podcast?
He's
His
like,
shit
he's like,
post afro.
he's like
I don't
on
know
the
if
he's like
it-
on the Voice and shit. Like,
Nah,
that's-
he's
No, we
still
couldn't. He's
he's still
current.
mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still
He's
mainstream.
not
We
a-
need
not a
someone
has-been.
on the downslope.
like Shannon Nole would do like shows at like the Doncaster Hotel and shit. Like he's on the down now.
Guy Sebastian is not coming out with singles, but
Pete Murray
He doesn't
did
need
Yeah,
to,
but
though.
he's just fucking.
He's
He's a
in
host on
Pete
fucking
Murray.
TV.
Pete Murray
like-
did a show at
Pete Murray.
Chelsea Heights Hotel and Todd went.
Yeah.
That's a Todd activity.
Beautiful
that
is
is.
a big track.
That's like local.
Let's get out of Aussie pop culture for a little bit. Dids, how have you been?
I've been good. All right, for the loyal listeners, we've got some good news. We've got some bad news. We lost last night, but your boy scored 11 points.
Oh,
We've done it. We've done it. Yeah, I know. Big deal.
Triple
so
double.
we nailed 2 threes, which is also a first. We didn't get the win. Lost
nailed
by a
2
point.
threes. Talk us through one of them.
So we were down by 4 points. Fast break. Dids catches it probably about
Pulls back. Damian
half
Lillard.
a meter outside of the 3.
Dame.
And then the opposition's like, oh yeah, foul him. But I pulled up, bro, nailed the 3. That was mad. We lost, but that was a mad moment.
But I
Did
drained
time?
the
Did you
three.
point at your watch? Did time?
Man, at one point we were like 9 points down and they got a turnover. I was like, yes, come on. And the guy's like, hey, bro, in case you didn't realize you're down, yeah? I'm like, yeah, thanks, man. I'm aware of that. Like, fucking hell, man. Like,
best.
You just gotta start
I know we're
fights.
losing. Like,
So you lost.
Recreational sports
So
all
you're
about
out.
fights.
You're out of the series.
we've got one more game.
Better
We're not making
spice it up
finals.
somehow.
But
Yeah.
we're going out with a bang next
Are you going to
week.
play again next year?
100%. It's a big break. I think it's like late January, but I'll be back.
Yeah,
It was
nice.
fun.
Fucking nice.
Fun.
You'll be back.
But I do want to incorporate just some like real basic athletic shit. I think I just need to train my calves. I need to do some kind of fucking hopping because I've got no spring. I've got, as I think we've discussed this before, I can move with quickness, but just like, I wouldn't say quickness. Like I can take off, but just like anything,
You can
like,
overcome inertia.
anything vertical, it's just like nah.
The flippers.
All right, damn me for
Flippers.
coaching. We'll sort
I'll
it
damn
out.
Bulls for coaching, no, but dead set. I think I could use a bit of that. So I've got 3 months off season. We'll sort it out.
That
We'll
guy
sort it
you
out.
sent me, that big guy,
Will Rattel. Will
he
Rattel.
did
Yeah.
70-kilo barbell jump over a hurdle.
Bro, there are some. I'm just in general. There are so many weapons we don't know about. Like just these little like Instagram pages. There's this. I've found a new subculture of like physical culture. that is so hectic.
Just the
there's this
jumping
guy doing
and-
odd lifts and jeans that I started following.
Have you seen the
Matt,
guy in
just
the
in his car park? Like he's in his hotel apartment. No, he's in his apartment car park, just doing sick shit. That guy there, massive.
There's an Aussie powerlifter who used to compete in like all the the early pro rolls and stuff, but he lifts like tractor parts on his farm.
Tom Haviland.
Yeah,
he's
that's right.
he's
Yeah.
monstrous.
Tom
He's
Haviland.
got like 100,000 followers or something, and you never see his face. It's always the back of his back.
He goes
And
for
he's
proper
monstrous.
rucks and takes like a trangia and food with him and cooks on the ruck.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
on another level.
He's-
I think he
he's
did train at Zero here and there.
Yeah, Tom
Lilly.
Lilly like showed me his page and stuff.
Or Freaky actually showed me him.
Yeah, but no, there's this and it's like training philosophy. Like these guys write like philosophy. I'll send you a few pages. There's another guy I found, Devin P. Kelly or some shit like that. Where these guys are on another level of like writing, and it's just so I don't know. It's just like romanticizes training in this fucking.
If you would
sick
summarize
way.
that little sub area of training, what would you call it?
Train
honestly,
everything.
like I don't know, the way I would call it, I'd probably call it like sick cunt shit. To be honest with you, I'm sorry, but like that's.
You need to see this guy.
We need some more words in your vocabulary. Let's.
But you asked what I would say
It's
and how I
Choco.
would.
It's called
All right,
Choco.
if you wanted the listener to understand what it actually meant,
Choco.
though,
I just don't. It's just train a
Frappe.
lot.
trained a lot. I reckon
It's
that's
just
just
trained a lot.
Guy,
like-
this big guy does his squatting like 220 for 8 high bar, then proceeds to do a hurdle jump with a 70 kilo barbell and then dunk a basketball.
Yeah, that's
Or-
French
also-
contrast
it's
method.
just- I think honestly, it's just brutal simplicity. Like the way these guys do it, like they just jump, with load, they lift with load, they do some conditioning. It's just simplicity. Like these guys are not doing French contrast, this, that. They're just like, just make sure you jump.
I'm going to
lift
start
hard
jumping
and do
with
that.
One thing I did see when I was away, and I just observing you three go about your business, is the gym has transitioned almost to a CrossFit gym. There's Dan Serlin was doing bloody cleans.
I cleaned 60 kilos. Shouts out.
There's
me.
only lifting happening out in the alleyway. There was something else happening. I'm like, what is going on here? But then when I got back, it made sense. But it was just
what made sense about it?
maybe it was you on the air bike with the shirt off. It was like two or three things that I was like,
Yeah, Charlie moved the air bike from the back of the gym to like front and center so everyone could see him. He
Well,
could
no,
talk to everyone.
no,
It was so it could be social.
There was only,
We can
only me, the two boozers, and Fish, and that was it, the four of us. And I wanted to be in the conversation. I had to do cardio. So I brought it out to the deadlift platform so I could talk to Fish. I talked to Bouz in between.
no, but I was just like, I was like, it's a CrossFit gym at the moment. What's going on?
Well,
Neck
I think
training,
we've
got spinal
gone,
grip training.
we've
it's all
changed. We're going down the athletic. Not
we haven't
athletic.
changed.
No,
We
no,
haven't
we're not
changed.
changed. We've gone down the fucking weapon.
No,
we're
we're-
weapons.
We're just adding more strings to our bow.
We're just doing what
We're
we
weapons.
We're just doing what we've always done. We're just
The gym's always been a strength and performance gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it always has. It's just that, and we mentioned it on a podcast, just that everyone that trains here, that posts on Instagram consistently, is more down the powerlifting
yeah.
route.
Route.
Fuck.
I think
I don't know.
pick either.
Choco.
I'll just route sounds better.
86.
Yeah. So we're going
live
route.
up.
But yeah, and it's like
live
coaches
Parfait.
generally that post it for self promotion as well because you got to do it, and people that post that sort of stuff, it's just the powerlifter. Whereas there's so many people that train for the lot, and then also it's just a recreational lift, like barbell athlete that it doesn't give a shit about just SBDing or doing anything that
Yeah.
the faulty mindset of if I do something else, it's going to affect my SBD. I think we've got a lot of people in there that are just like, I just want to be better performance wise across the board.
Get jacked, get strong.
So all we're
across-
doing is
yeah.
just posting it more.
Yeah,
it.
but
Like-
also on that, we're
We're doing
renovating the gym,
challenges.
boys.
We're doing the challenges.
We're entering phase 2 of the gym
challenges.
here at phase 2. We're going to
Phase 2
renovate
and location
the
2.
whole foyer area. I'm going to have a conversation with Dad and discuss what we're doing with the carpet.
I can go get Loris in that conversation as well.
Yeah,
Nah. Go to Robbo.
yeah.
Go to Robbo.
Nah, respect for Loris. Loris has some insight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't need common sense. We just need like just brute.
No, but the
Machine.
Mum always leaves the conversation. She'll be walking away and she'll turn around and say, "Have I ever let you down, Jamie?" And then leave. Like that's the
Watching the
and it
last
just
7
sits
years.
in my head, and it's like
Huge
that's
flex.
actually so fucked because you're a goat, Loris.
Watching the
and
last
you
7
never let me
years,
down.
you interact with your mum, you always disagree. You're
Yeah.
never on the same page.
Yeah, but then I come in on Monday. I'm like, yeah, we're doing it Mum's way. But yeah, we're going to renovate. We're removing the foyer. The foyer's moving forward to the reception area. We're gonna rubberize that
we
whole
don't need
area.
a reception.
No, it's not a reset, but we need a desk there so we can do a little bit of
small
admin.
desk.
We have a massive desk. We need a small desk.
We need
We don't need
1/10.
that. We don't need that desk.
No, we don't.
monster
That desk
desk.
just came from the old gym. Like that's all right. We're going to rubberize that whole area. We're probably going to get about 8 machines under that bit, I reckon. Total, probably 6 to 8. Hack squats coming in. We just bought a seated calf raise.
Oh, we've got another thing that we want to get. We want to get the jump for height. Do you know the
Vertec?
Yeah, they have at the draft.
Really?
Yeah.
Jamie, you've been away.
You've been
Things
away too
changed,
long,
man.
bro.
Things
Shit's
have
changed.
changed. Keep up, man. Come on.
We're training fucking NBA athletes.
A part of a performance is objectivity. Chalk, wall, and tape measure.
I want to know that the jump training I've been doing for 3 months, I've improved my vertical
Yeah,
by
and I
2
want to pull
centimeters.
rebounds down, so we've got to get my vert up.
Actually, I'm thinking about putting a proper like actual like grassed area at the back, like getting someone to like lay it properly and flattening
That'd
it
be
a little
mad.
bit, and then putting a small area that's rubberized that if you wanted to do cleans, you could do it. Because Dan Sterling doing cleans on the bloody thing.
Oh, mad.
He wasn't on the
and
concrete.
then
Also,
putting-
he
and
put
putting
the
a
mats
shade
down.
cloth, putting a shade cloth.
I will give it. He put the mats down. You know the rubber mats at the end.
Yeah.
Not the second time. The first time
He dragged them over. And
Another
he put-
video I saw.
Yeah, you saw the second video.
the
This
So
is
well-
turning into a business meeting. This is probably turning
It's
into...
right. You get in. You get an insight into
That's
strength
it.
culture.
Also, we shouldn't have gotten rid of the hurdles and given them to Jared. I think we need hurdles again.
so if anyone's got some free hurdles,
Did Jared buy them?
No, Jared, no, just
Go
gave
get them off him.
Thanks for-
Yeah, sorry, bro.
Sorry, bro. We're taking them back.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Next thing you're gonna say, get those red boxes back. Yeah.
No. The boxes are fine. We need a bigger box.
We need the Vertec though. I want to get my vertical up.
Jamie just went from like excited about Renault's like,
what? Like what?
I'm just buying all the shit you guys told me to get rid of.
hey, we've done 360
It's
full
the,
circle.
we've gone. You drinking a bottle of red wine in Paris every night, to now realizing we've got to look after our health a bit. We've done the opposite. We've got rid of all the S&C stuff to realize we actually want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gym is a playground.
All right. I like it.
Sheesh.
It's a playground. We also
doing
might
laterals.
need a second air bike.
I think we need a second.
I
air
think we
bike.
need a second.
Oh,
We do
wow.
need a second air bike.
Yeah.
Because the amount of people,
amount of people
that get
using
given
it.
whether it's warm up, cardio, intervals.
Wow.
Like, there's a bottleneck on the air bike.
There's a bottleneck.
We need a second.
We need
We've
a
got
second
Bottleneck on the air
We need a
bike.
second air bike.
Which is a good problem to have. Most people doing their cardio,
Yeah.
but we need a second one.
Let me work on the renovation of the area first, and then we'll piece some other. Yeah, all right.
Like I reckon the second air bike is like one of. I mean, yeah.
Is that up there with a hack squat?
It's up
Second
there.
air bike
It's
or a
up
hack
there.
squat
No,
first?
hack squat first.
Hacksaw first, but air bike's up there.
All right. We'll make a list. Check it twice.
Big list.
Big list.
Yeah.
Athletes
Athletes.
and calf rate. Let's go to
Yeah.
calves.
Was there anything else that we had to cover?
Nah.
I think we've got it all.
We can get an Atlantis forearm roller.
Does that actually exist?
Yeah, it does. It's fucked.
Is it any better than our
barbell.
ghetto setup with the band and the kettlebell?
No, well, the ghetto setup is
Ghetto
like,
wins
it
all-
builds self
It's part
confidence.
of the charm.
Yeah, the fact that if I was using an Atlantis forearm roller, I would be like, I suck. Like of the pieces of it that Atlantis offer, if I got the forearm roller, then I'd question what I'm doing with
I
my
think
life.
if you're going to be buying a forearm roller from Atlantis, you'd have to have a fair few other Atlantis pieces of equipment first.
Yeah, you'd be off your head if
I
you
think
bought just that
just
one.
that
It
one.
says something just to get the forearm roll.
No, but it's not like a roller. Like it's like a 2x2 meter fucking.
It's a
No
platform.
way.
It's a platform.
It's a platform,
huge.
disco light.
I think you can train everything. It's different. Like there's cushions. It's ridiculous. I didn't know it existed.
What's the force profile on that?
Oh fuck! I don't know.
All right, well then we covered everything. Well done, boys. Good stuff.
You didn't ask me how I was, but
How
it's
are you,
all right.
boys?
No, it's all right. I just go fuck myself.
How are
it's
you?
all good. Yeah, I'm all right.
What's the news?
I'm good, man.
cutting.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm cutting.
You weighed 107 kilos on your return.
Yeah, that was the heaviest weigh-in of my life. I weighed in on the Sunday that I got back from Port Douglas, and I was like, I've done this properly.
Yeah.
There was no
What
feelings.
did you leave Melbourne as?
103?
Ooh.
Yeah, it was good. But then I got
You were
back
gone
down.
for 7 days, man. What were you doing?
Hey, I told you, I do things, when I do things, I do them in
You
extremes.
just drinking olive oil.
I was drinking a lot. No, but no, I was smart. I did play it up. Like everyone, I said, I'll play it up. Yeah, I ate 4,500 calories a day. I didn't. Like I would
Drank
pick,
4,500
I
calories.
drank no, not even that. Like I played it up. I drank 1 to 2 bottles of rosé with lunch or dinner a night, and then maybe like.
How good's rosé?
That's a good amount.
And then maybe one throughout the day
a
here
good
and there.
amount.
But also, if I had breakfast, like I wasn't getting the triple beef and bacon stacker, and then if I was going for lunch, I wasn't doing that. I'd eat like a lavish dinner.
Why were you going to fucking
Honestly-
Hungry Jack's for breakfast?
No, I didn't. No, you know how that you go to a restaurant or something, and they're like they've got the most aggressive burger on the menu,
Yeah.
and it's like, I'm gonna get the quad beef and cheese.
I'm
and
gonna
then
get the heart,
3
yeah.
serves of onion rings with the mac and cheese croquettes. It's like I didn't do that every meal. Like breakfast, I was like, maybe I know I'm going out for dinner, so I'll send it at dinner. So like I picked my battles. I started. So the way in, actually, I did do something really stupid at the at Cairns Airport. On the way out, I felt horrible as I got in. We had this this shuttle driver that was like the drive from Port Douglas to Cairns is like Great Ocean Road, windy,
yeah, it's car
whatever
sickness.
else. Anyway, one of the people
bad.
for the shuttle rocked up 15, like they were waiting. They made us wait for 15, 20 minutes. So this shuttle driver's like, we're going fast and furious, boys and girls, and we almost spewed on the shuttle. Like it was ridiculous.
That's
My
mad.
stomach was sore. I ate hard during the day, and then I got to Cairns and like I was the sickness. I never get car sick, but the car sickness was starting to subside. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm probably not going to eat for like 4 or 5 hours. Maybe not the rest of the night.
Just slam some rosé.
I'm just going to push the limits here, and then also like I'll get started tomorrow. So if I hate myself from how hard I eat now, then the dieting is going to get a lot easier. So I got like the angry double whopper from Hungry Jack's, serve of onion rings, and then this spicy fried chicken burger. And the flight back was like hard. Like it was real hard.
Sweating.
The meat
Sweating. Like there were some demons that were trying to release me, but just like out of me, but out of consideration for the other passengers.
You hold him in and
Yeah.
just farted instead.
No. No. That was good. I'm a considerate passenger on a plane, but
I'm not.
You're not really. You're like, I'm just gonna just release this. And
My
see-
Saving for the plane.
see
my
who
theory
turns
on
around.
planes is you drop them because so many people around, they're never going to know who you
You are actually a piece of shit. You are actually.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
But you know who will know? Deuce sitting next to you.
Deuce, yeah, sure.
Do you let Deuce know?
Yeah,
Oh,
she always knows.
She always knows.
knows.
You didn't punch her in the stomach. Like, was that you?
Yeah, was that you,
piece
you
of shit?
fucking dog?
No, I don't do that. But yeah, I woke up the next morning like, I'm gonna weigh myself and see what I've done here. Like I knew it was gonna be like water weight and shit, whatever else, but it was a lot of water weight. 103 weigh when I left, and it was 107 on the Sunday. I was like, I've done the damage here. Like I've done
What's
it
your
well.
body weight at now?
Oh, 103 flat.
That's crazy.
4
4
kilos
kilos
in a
in a
week.
week.
Watery.
Yeah. Real watery. Yeah,
I was laughing my ass off at the watery shit.
Yeah. There's a bit of rosé under the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
The most watery I've ever looked was I was in Arizona with Crozier, and this was like after like 6 weeks of travel. Same thing, like just the slob overseas. But I had to do like a marketing video for one of the presentations. I think it was one of the powerlifting JPS things that I spoke at when we came back, and I had to make this thing. I have to find on my Instagram, and I just looked like a fucking bloated mess. Like, and I was like sunburnt, and and the way the sun was hitting me, I was like, man. And I weighed 106.6 on the flight on the way back from America. So that's the biggest. So 106,
You and me,
107.
bro, 2 pieces in a pod. We're
Yeah.
good. These guys are a little bit fucking more measured.
What's the
Gotta
most you've
catch
ever
up.
weighed?
No. See, I'm lighter than you, but I go hard.
You go
I've
hard?
done 5 kilos in 8 days. Don't worry about
Really?
it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't think I could.
I can eat. Like
Yeah.
me and Bouz are one of the same. Like
Yeah, I put on 10 kilos of proper tissue in Europe. Like, it wasn't water weight. It was 10 kilos like I got
I love
home.
to eat.
Yeah, it was proper
Adipose tissue.
like adipose tissue.
I can eat a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We should,
the difference is though-
should we be giving nutrition advice?
The difference is though, I don't drink much, so more of the calories is coming from solid
Mate,
food.
if you can't control a yo-yo, mate, they're the exact people you need to.
Yeah,
You need to fucking be able to
I reckon-
control
No,
the
I
I've got
reckon
empathy to
you-
speak from.
You know,
So
you've
it's-
been,
been there.
into the spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah, I just love holidays and feeling good all the time.
108 was the heaviest I've ever weighed,
108.
which is now. And I weighed that at Pro Raw too.
You're 108.
Yeah, 108.
Yeah.
Same as Alex Viada.
He's 110.
shredded. He reckons he's 110.
110 kilos.
110, yeah. And he fucking is an animal. He's an animal.
He's your new man, isn't he?
Yeah. I like him because he's away from, like, without being mean, Russell Orhe, like everyone loves him now. These like new little power. I
don't know if everyone loves him.
A lot of people
There's
love
a lot of people
A lot
that
of
like
people
that,
like it.
like, and it's just not me, and it's just not what I like. I'm really on Pat Davidson too at the moment.
Pat Davidson.
Yeah, like he made this post the other day about his hamstring. He's got like a mullet and shit, and he's just like, "Fuck my hamstring. It's been letting me down. Like I just want to fucking sprint. I just want to be an animal." And I was just like, just the way I resonate with that. And then Alex Viada, I just resonate because he just wants to do what he wants to do. He's like, I don't give a shit. He goes, I want to be strong, deadlift 320, but then also I want to go and fucking run a half marathon.
Yeah.
And I like that. I just he's also older too, more mature. I think he lifts the ideas. The reason why he lifts is similar to where we're at in our life. It's like an enjoyment thing, pushing ourselves, being a fucking, a bit more of an animal.
Yeah.
So I resonate with that.
Yeah.
Something unrelated, but
Yeah.
sort of related. Alex Viada, Mike Nelson, Luke Lehman.
Yeah.
In that a round table in COVID, the Stronger Experts thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I reckon during COVID, I was like trawling through research. I was reading heaps. I went really hard during COVID. And then I like was listening to him talk. And like these are all like Mike Nelson's proper researcher. He's like
These are the top of the top.
of the top guys. And I was watching this round table and I had like a proper breakdown, like moment. I was like, I'm never going to make it.
Yeah.
I know nothing. I'm like, whatever else. But then I realized they're also all 40 plus.
Yes.
You got time. You got time. They got time
Put the
and
years in.
time in the trenches
They've
and
just
whatever else.
accumulated knowledge over the year. Like even now, I look back, like when I went hard on learning about RPE, it's like all that shit is there. That
in the
knowledge,
bank,
it's
yeah.
just there. I've got it. So I still draw upon that occasionally, and I'll tell people. And then it's like now we're going more into this zone 2 cardio thing. Like we're learning more about
Nah,
that.
not just zone 2 there.
But all of it. We're learning more. So,
All
so
of
whatever,
it, a
the
lot.
next 6 months to a year, we're going to really dive into that shit.
Yeah.
And then it's like that will be in the bank. And then
accumulates,
then there's the next thing. And we've done the biomechanics stuff. Like we've gone through, we did the compression expansion,
Yeah.
the center of
Well,
mass.
it's the
all
same
that
as
shit, which-
education with training.
Yes.
Same thing.
You
You accumulate over time. It's long game. Don't feel restricted to one zone. You can do whatever else.
Yeah.
And
But
then
also,
one day-
when you rattle that group of names off, so go through them again. Luke Lehman,
Luke Lehman,
Viada, Mike
Nelson.
T. Nelson.
That was it.
Like you'd put Pat Davidson in there. You,
Yeah.
you could probably put who else is on that Stronger Expert stuff? Let's just leave it at those guys.
Yeah.
Like from like the educated trainers.
They're the top.
Oh, you also put like the 3D, like an Eric
3DMJ,
Helms or someone in
yeah.
there, like those sort of guys.
Alberto
Like,
Nunez in his 40s.
yeah. They're not only they've not only got 25 years of training experience at a high level and really achieved some crazy fucking things, but they're also PhDs, so they're also at the top of that pile, and they're also at the. It's just a top of the
You're looking at
applied.
the top and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I suck.
I
It's a-
suck.
Yeah, they're the best. Like,
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
The one, so I recently listened to Pat Davidson on the High Performance podcast, and just his brain, it's just like the shit.
He's so abstract, man.
Man, they started talking about. So and it blew my fucking. Now when I walk my dog, I just watch my dog's mechanics. So
I loved it. It was
because of
good.
the
It
shit
was
they were
good.
talking about. So he's like, we evolved from aquatic creatures, which are frontal plane. We moved in the frontal plane to propel us through water. Then we came out and we were on all fours, and it was frontal plane and sagittal plane. So like, if you watch my dog's rib cage
all moves
is
as once.
frontal,
Yeah.
legs are
Sagittal.
sagittal. Then when we went bipedal, that was the transverse plane, because now we only had 2 legs to propel us through fucking
Yeah.
space.
But isn't everything transverse?
Huh?
Isn't everything transverse?
Everything's transverse. You're on a Bill Hartman through Pat Davidson language train
Yeah.
right
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then the one that blew my mind was when they started talking about sharks and dolphins, and they're like, sharks are frontal plane, dolphins propel themselves through water in the sagittal plane. And I was just like, what the fuck? I was like mind blown.
Yeah. And then I look at that and I'm like, do I want to be that? And then I always circle back to like, nah. Like it's really intelligent. Like it's amazing.
But it's not for me.
It's not for me. Like I bought the Sapiens book. I'm like, evolutionary
I'll
biology.
send you,
I honestly just don't give a fuck.
I'll send you how
Sapiens is interesting, though.
Human, there's a 2-part research. It's like a narrative research thing that explains human gait compared
Yeah.
to chimpanzee gait,
So it's to do
and
with the head.
all of the bony structures of the body and
Yeah.
why they're different, like the shape of the pelvis, like the location of the propulsive muscles, and like all of that sort of stuff. And you can sort of see, you can literally just like see the evolution of how we actually got to where we're at.
Where we're at.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's more just learning for the sake of learning. It's same as with like when we went through the compression expansion thing, and I was like, this isn't actually helping me with my. There's a point where like learning to manage center of mass helps with like your clients, but it's like the
Well, it's just a
compression
lens.
expansion thing. It's like it's not changing the fucking.
Doesn't change the prescription.
It's not going to change.
It changes
But it
the
helps
lane.
the understanding, and I think it
Yeah.
does help with exercise execution and understanding it, starting positions, orientation. I think the understanding of concentric, eccentric orientation through that lens is like, that's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
You understand that, well, it's really just length tension relationships, but you understand that, then you can change setup position to everything that's quote unquote optimal right now.
Optimal.
Yeah, like with that. Like I think it's still a great lens. I don't think that was for the sake of learning because it still models
I agree.
our shit. What I'm saying is it's learning for the sake of learning. Like I know what my learning is now. It's directed to like just pure performance for me and my clients. You know what I
We've
mean?
been
Like,
going. We've been talking about the conditioning stuff.
Yeah. I
There's
think also,
different
like,
zones and how to program it.
When you have a good understanding of something, you have the ability to be like, oh, it doesn't really matter. But like for someone who doesn't know it, probably matters somewhat. But once you've got that general kind of understanding, it's like, oh, cool. Like with the RPE, I can put that in the back of my head. It's there when I need it, but it's not something I have to have at like the forefront of my mind all the time.
Do you know
It's
what's
just
funny
there.
now with the RPE stuff? I remember when we first got in, I used to be so finicky with everything. It's like, oh, everything's got to be like on the program. Should I have 8.5 or 8? And now it's like I realize I don't give a shit. None of it fucking
rock up.
matters. Rock up, do it for the long term because now that I'm diving into the Nassim Nicholas Taleb stuff about like how
volatile.
the
Everything
black
is,
swan,
isn't
the improbable becoming the probable. So the things that we never expect going to happen, then actually happening. It's like we actually have no fucking idea what the body's going to do.
to
Just-
predict is like
It's impossible.
Yeah, it's a biological.
It's impossible.
Yeah,
So come in, do your set of 5 squats, somewhere between a 6 to 8 RPE. Good, done. You're recovering. Mad. Let's keep
Just comes
going.
back to and speaking of like putting things in a simple, like you got to go so deep that you can step back and understand it. In
That
a
it is simple.
Yeah, is it's the Luke, not the Greg Knuckles. That's another one that would be on that stronger experts thing.
Oh,
But
those-
Oh, dude, it's the best. Like
it's if you're training.
if you're making, let me stop for a second. So with your training, if you're not making progress, oh no, Jamie Smith it. I've Jamie Smith it. Oh no, I proper fucked it. Can you?
No,
do you
I
reckon
like
you'll
your
do it better?
stand
Charlie
everything
knows.
quote.
Do you reckon you'll do it
I
better?
can
or
do
no?
it. Yeah, it's
alright.
it's.
I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking
I
about.
came in real
it's-
bullish, but I
it's-
fucked it.
It's if you're making progress, you don't need to change anything. But if you're not making progress, are you recovering? Like, are you feeling good? If that's a yes, we'll do more. If are you not recovering? Are you feeling shit? Well, if not, do less. Like,
Well
it's
done.
literally like that's
Yeah.
kind of
Better
the
than
crux.
I'm doing that at the moment with my upper body programming because I'm at a point now where I'm like in constant fucking discomfort all the time with.
What is the update on that?
The
MRI.
MRI came back with nothing, so we're just going to treat it functionally. So that's where I'm going with now. So I've spoken to Bouz about it the other day. I'm dropping my comp bench to nationals to twice a week. I'm actually done. I don't care that much about my bench, whether it's 175, 170, 180, to withstand the discomfort that I'm going through. I couldn't care less right now. I just want to actually feel good. So I'm going to drop bench to twice a week, bring in a lot more hook lying variations, more and reaching. So I've been landmine press, probably going to incorporate, like 10 hard sets a week of landmine press just to get some fucking length through the lat, get some serratus, because it feels so much better when I do that. Because something's got to change. I've been doing this.
sets of landmine press a week.
I went 5 the other day, 5 sets in one day. That's mad. I felt good. I feel like I get to 3 and I'm like, I'm only just starting. I feel like the first two.
Have you done a hook lying? Have any of you boys done hook on the incline press machine? Hook lying, like dig your heels in a little bit, but then full on reach at the top.
No, I haven't. I don't fucking.
I reckon
You
that's
put a little
like
box in
the.
front of you and put your feet up.
I reckon that's the best. Like
Hook line,
landmine.
loaded reach.
Yeah, like a lot. It is crazy because the angle it's on as well is
Yeah.
like perfect
It's
for
overhead.
it.
It constrains the position you want a hell of a lot more because the landmine, there's a lot of
Man,
room
hit it
for
on
error.
that. Do a hook lying incline. Machine press.
I
Yeah,
do
machine
split
press, sorry,
stance landmine. It feels crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Lock the elbow because everyone keeps soft elbow. Lock the fucking elbow
And then
you
reach.
and then fucking
Get
reach.
that armpit up.
And it felt mad.
Oh yeah, baby.
But yeah, I'm like that now with my upper body. I'm just I'm actually like dreading benching at the moment. Just
Yeah, feeling like
fucking
shit sucks.
in pain all the time. These nerve things.
And this I like your post. I think you maybe made it today about
The volume prescription.
the volume prescriptions. I wanted to add a thing to it. What was the post actually? Do you want to recap the post you made?
Yeah, so the volume, like the guideline, everyone knows the James Krieger volume Bible, his guidelines, landmarks, whatever, which I think are fantastic.
I think it's the best free resource.
by far. And And I just think that everyone almost like they get that, which is great. It's a solid piece of evidence compiled into a great resource, but it says hard sets. They say hard sets. So people will program it. It's like, all right, 6 sets of pecs. Like they might do like a chest and quad day or whatever. And they've got their 6 sets of pecs, 6 sets of quad work. So that's perfect. That's to the bottom end of his sets per session guideline. 16 sets for the session. It's antagonistic. All right, whatever. It's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect by way of the guidelines. But so many people will sandbag like most of the sets.
Training.
You know what I mean? Yes. Like what's hard sets dictated? What is it? 6 RPE plus?
RPE 5 plus.
RPE 5 plus. I now I don't program 7 or lower for accessory movement. I think it is, for most people that don't actually know what it is, I'll just program 8 to 10 every time.
Yeah.
And just get them to fail off that. Because how many people are truly going to failure either?
Not many.
Yeah, like they'll call it 10 to 10, but it's like, I don't know, like
Well,
9.
they'll call it 9 and 9, but it's not really.
It's not really a 9, you know what I mean? So like chances are...
You'd rather push them a little harder so they land a little further up the... Yeah.
Exactly. Like I'm not programming 9s, 10s with fucking squat singles. Like, all right, it's definitely context dependent. So like the guidelines are that you don't need to start someone at 6. I don't think you need to start someone at 6 sets. Like I've had so many people now doing 4 sets per session of like chest movements. 2 and 2. They'll do like their lengthen, they'll do their shorten, and they'll fucking obliterate it. And from a quality standpoint, like I've actually got a better pump. I feel like I've taken it to fatigue, and my sessions are way shorter. Like on all fronts. So the quality standpoint
Supersets.
is there.
So you're using supersets.
No. It's just you just start on the lower end of the volume prescription and really just highlight the need or the necessity for hard training. Like it has to be.
Make that the emphasis.
Yeah, but this is something that because and with the caveat, the big caveat of it is that it has like hard training needs to be the premise before we start to think about these volume prescriptions and all of this other stuff. Something that I do with the mentorship guys is I'm like, this is the resource, but at the end of the day, and I got this from Will Berkman, like science and all of this average data and all this average sort of prescription that comes from these meta-analysis and wherever you're getting the resources from, ultimately just tells us like a rough area of where to start someone. But at the end of the day, like that's all it is. Like you can't just
Science doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, exactly. It just gives you like a little lens to say this is where we should start. Everything from there forward needs to be like we could just call it a bottoms up approach. But you're getting information and you're making the adjustments. You're like, actually, I could just put this guy way lower and then just hammer intensity, and it's just going to get the same result in a quarter, let's say 75% of the amount of sets. Like it's
so this is where we've been under the more volume lens for so long, and now that I'm diving into old mate Viada, he's the opposite. He's fucking strip everything back.
Papa.
He does less and less and less, and I've been doing the same too. Like now my session, it's 3 hard movements. That's it. Yeah. I do them fucking hard, and I'm gassed at the end. It takes me 2 hours. Yeah. Mike Israel was the same. He did 8 sets of squat. He would have done
Luke Tulloch approach.
He did 4 fucking hack squats and whatever 4 leg extensions. He goes, took me 2 hours, and people are commenting like, "Yeah, you're doing it wrong, man. It's taking you way too long." Now we know Mike Israel would be doing those fucking 8 sets.
Like pukes every session.
Yeah, like they would be to proper fucking RPE 8s and 9s. So
it's the same thing with my old coach Jeff. Like for years on his Instagram posts, people in the comments, that seems like a low amount of volume. Like, do you reckon that's enough? And then he politely like mentions like, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've trained hard. I try to, avoid injury as much as I can. I consistently do it day in, day out, and that volume accumulates over time. And he's never pushed high volume training, and he's fucking jacked as fuck. And his clients are. Like,
I think something that the 3DMJ guys and Jeff and Alberto Nunez talk about as well. It's the quality of the volume as well, though. So
they put a big emphasis on that.
There is. So it's not to say that higher volume, because I think that's a practice thing too. Like you could get someone doing 6 sets, but if 4 of the sets they're still working out the movement, the quality of volume is not there. Yeah. Whereas Jeff, that first set by way of execution is going to be fucking tip-top, fantastic. He feels them up. He knows what's going on.
And that's the thing. Like, he'll do like multiple warm-up sets as needed as he gets on heavier movements. But that first set, like the execution is there, the intent is there. There's no piss farting around with those working sets. There's not like, one set, I'm just filling it out, I'll put that down. No. That's not a set. If you're doing a set, it's a fucking set. And then that's when you're actually going to get a stimulus.
I remember Luke Tulloch used to do, I think it was between 6 and 8 hard sets on like one leg machine,
yeah.
and that was his whole lower body. And he's like, I ran this workout for fucking like 10 months, and it was literally one machine between 6 to 8 sets.
Yeah,
and he'd just hammer himself, and he'd be like, I was fucked. And then he showed a post of his it's just
quad feathers.
Unbelievable.
yeah,
it's
like
ridiculous.
absolutely crazy.
Well, that's right. Because now I do want to, after nationals, want to start running and doing a little bit more of that, a little bit more stress going into the sink. Someone needs to be.
When did this? I've heard this sink analogy. When's that
the
become?
overflow? It's if the drain's not big enough.
Drain's not big
I've heard of
enough.
buckets, but I haven't heard of sink
Buckets.
before.
Yeah.
It's a sink.
It's a 3-dimensional view of a
it's-
bucket. Yeah,
It's a fucking sagittal transverse bucket. But it's So something's got to give. So you can't just fucking more. And the more I think with these guys too that we're talking about,
they're all not.
they've been
all
in the
of them.
game for 30 years. They're juicing too.
A lot of these names are juicing.
Some of them are juicing, but some are not. But also they've been in the game for a long time, and they're in it for a long
But that's
time.
that's probably part of the reason they're in the game for a long time is because they do it in a method or an approach that is sustainable. They're not just hammering themselves with these endlessly long sessions.
Probably
and
already they were probably fucked up heaps too.
Yeah, I'm sure they made mistakes, but they probably learned
There's
from
both.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just in the trenches. Something as well that my coach Grant Fowler made aware to me, because it's like every time you coach an athlete as well, it's like fuck, they need a bit. You know what I mean? Like if you create the minimum viable program for an athlete, like what are the must haves for someone that's running, changing directions? Like all right, you want to try and make sure that the entire lower shank is covered, like shank it like that. Huh? So you got some straight leg calf, you got some bent knee, getting some tib in there. But if they're changing direction, you want a bit of groin in there. So like, there's fucking exercises. So this minimum viable program, you create these things like, all right, you need to train rate of force development. So they've got these jump. It's an extensive program by way of number of movements. So the mindless prescription of 3 sets of whatever the fuck is
It just adds up to.
it
Fucking,
adds up.
Yeah.
So this person's doing 4,500 sets per session. It's like, all right. So the 3 sets of RPE 7 to 8 or X amount of reps, 3 sets of X amount of reps, RPE 7 to 8 is like, it's a shit prescription. It's a shit prescription for repetitions when you've got that many movements. So instead, it's like, I've got 1 to 2 sets of a movement. Again, it's context dependent. It's probably not a squat. Might be a tibialis raise. Take that shit to
I've got
a
to
10.
make it. I've got to make the 2 sets worthwhile.
Copenhagen
Exactly.
plank. I finish and I do 1 set to fucking failure.
Yeah. And it's like you probably need that exercise variability.
Yeah.
Like there's a number of exercises, it's a lot of things you need to do it. So and just man, you see some of these programs, like fuck, that's a lot of exercises. But if you're doing 3 sets, they're in there for 3 hours. If you're doing 1 to 2 of a lot of the accessory movements and then 2 hard sets of the mains, all right, you can probably cut it down to an hour 10, hour and a half. You know what I mean? It's just yeah, I don't know. I've changed my way of thinking of intensity a lot. I progress intensity first for a lot of people now. I'll get them off 2 sets of movements and then just ramp their intensity. And they're like, "Are you sure? Like 2 sets?" I'm like, "Can I get the extra set?" I'm like, just wait a second."
fair,
I made a
Yeah.
post once. If you look at yourself and someone who's way more strong, way more jacked than you, the volume you're doing probably doesn't differ that much, but they're doing a fuck more intensity than you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, volume, we need a certain amount, but like intensity is the driver over time. Like you can't just add sets
Absolutely.
forever and
Yeah.
fucking and get absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to absolutely the weight on the bar needs to go up.
You have to be getting stronger. You have to
it's
be
not an
pushing
option.
load. At some point, it just
Maybe I'll fucking take the Luke Tulloch approach for flat dumbbell press. Just 8 sets. Just hammer it.
Intensification methods are the new wave, man. I'm telling you, we need a myo rep and drop set everything.
Isn't that
The old wave coming back.
We're bringing Mike Mensah.
Do you know the biggest bench press PR over here with Bryce was after we ran fucking bench press myo reps?
Yeah.
Something to it.
There was something that
Myo
I read
reps
that
on
was
bench
so
press.
common sense in the Mike Mensah book. So common sense. Like me, this is the issue I've been facing with my calf. I can't, on my right ankle, I feel like I can't take the calf I can't fully shorten it. I'm lacking the range on that right side a little bit. So for me to actually reach concentric failure, it's like a bit iffy. I'm like, is the calf actually fatiguing or is it the joint and the movement?
Yeah.
So something in the book that he was saying is like, are you truly taking a muscle to failure if it's only concentric failure? The muscle is the weakest concentrically, and then it's stronger isometrically, and then it's strongest eccentrically. So if you're only taking it to concentric failure, are you actually taking it to
So
failure?
would then he do like an isometric hold?
Isometrics and the eccentrics.
Because I've thought about that with my calves, like doing them like, because I hit the concentric failure and then just doing like hold for as long as I can.
Yeah, well, it's just
Because-
from a systemic stress standpoint, bro, you can hammer the shit out of them. What
like-
have you pulled up sore doing bodyweight calf raises?
Never.
But you probably want to get them stronger and ram volume, considering the volume you're going to put into them when you run. You
Well, that's
know?
what I
So
mean.
for
It's like
me-
when I'm fucking pounding the pavement.
Yeah, that's it, bro.
Mate, you want those calves fucking to tolerate
Yeah,
that.
exactly. And it's like, I don't think 3 sets of, because everyone's piss weak in a bodyweight calf raise if they haven't done them. So if you bang 3 sets of 10 each side, I don't think that's enough volume for the calf. So for me, the first time I got a pump in this side, just ramming the concentric, done. Held an ISO for as long as I could, done. And then eccentrics the entire way. I don't know, I actually finally felt like calf.
Yeah.
And got enough meaningful volume to start getting progress again.
So you were doing eccentrics as well after.
Yeah, you pop up on 2 and then lower
Come
on
down
1.
on 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Advanced hypertrophy techniques.
Advanced
Charles.
So for a bicep
I'll
curl,
teach you one day, mate. Don't worry.
So for a bicep curl, pump out the concentric.
Is it actually called?
No, it's taking
You just
piss.
took his shit.
Taking the piss.
What was it? All that shit. The drop sets. Fucking.
No, I remember
advanced.
when we were at
Yeah.
Muscle City once. No, not Muscle City. What was the other Muscle Factory in Ringwood? And you're looking around. Jamie's looking around. He's just like, bodybuilding is just stupid ways of increasing volume. That's all it is. Everyone doing fucking. Because remember, Ziz used to.
But is it stupid? They're all massive.
They're all massive.
No, they are.
Ziz used to finish every eccentric, like a 5-second eccentric.
Well, and this is and I think this is a faulty sort of mindset that comes around submax training and RPE. Like, how many people are actually going to failure or actually
Yeah, but
getting
that's
to a 9?
always been the
bottleneck.
It is
the dark side of RPEs. It's always the counterpoint. Is that how many? That's yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is the thing, because I still don't hit proper RPEs. So it's like, is the intensification method the means that's going to get someone to
No.
true failure? Could be.
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing my hamstring curls. I've only been doing 2 sets, but the last set's a rest pause, 30-second rest pause, failure.
Advanced.
And then if I want to do another couple fucking reps, it's
Advanced.
mad. You leave, the pump is crazy.
That's hyper advanced.
I'm not criticizing RPE. It's the psychology of people more
Yeah,
so.
100%.
It's that. So is it like getting them to an RPE and say, "Oh, hit a 9 to 10"? Or it's like you hit your 7 to 8 and then do these Maya reps and actually send it.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to game the system. a
Yeah,
little
and,
bit.
and
You have to.
yeah, it's the whole idea of why we'd use an AMRAP to teach. Like, you're just trying to find ways to show people that they can actually achieve more and do more and push past those limits. Because
like-
hopefully then that's what you get on the outside.
Muhammad Ali only counts the reps when they're hurting. But like with the Copenhagen's, because Copenhagen's can be brutal. So you do 1 set, it's fucking hard. Have a little rest for 20 seconds, then fucking hold again.
Go a little more.
Because you're already cooked, and then
Jump back in that fucking pool of
Jump back in the ring.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
love hydrogen. I
Lather
just
that
love
discomfort.
hydrogen ions.
I'm actually
lather.
gonna stop this conversation though, boys.
oh, yeah, also before we
was
stop
cheap.
it, I've
we're not,
decided
I was cheap.
Christmas special 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, all right. We've got to crack a bottle of red though. We've also got some
Yeah, bottle of red,
celebrations
'cause
to
I
have,
was
but we'll
like-
do that at the 50 podcast.
I reckon our listeners would listen.
Well, we'll find out now because we're halfway there.
Because I didn't
20. I didn't
want to
realise.
fucking finish. I didn't want
That
it to
was
finish.
like 45 minutes of fucking
Intro.
I have to wrap up at like 55 minutes and he was like, nah, I'm not done.
and then 45 minutes of more trash. But that was fun. That was
the last
really good.
30 minutes
No,
was
that was
fun.
great. No, that was really good.
proper training.
No, that was good.
That was training.
That was
Talked
good.
about dolphins and sharks.
But
and
what I want to
playing.
say is, if you've made it this far, fucking give us 5 stars. And if you made it this far, jump in the Discord. That's probably the 2 things. All of that is good. Thank you very much.
I want to sprint.
Done.
I've had a thought. No,
Thanks,
last thought.
Charles.
I'm wrapping up here.
No,
last
done.
thought.